With it being the week leading up to 3.7, today I'm here with the full updated guide for Tribbie. In this video, I'm taking you over everything you do need to know, including her kit and eidolons, best Lightcones, best relic sets and ornaments, relic sets you want to run, and team building ideas. I plan on having a full updated guide or new guide for any new and returning character in the 3.7 update. There's already one for Cyrene, Hyacine, Castris. You are now watching Tribbie. Soon there will be one for Finon, Cypher, and Meta. Support me and the channel by clicking my link in the description and trying out Raid Shadow Legends. You'll start your account with the legendary champ Elenarl, as well as 3 awesome epics as you progress through the game. I appreciate all your guys' support. Remember to click the link and let's crush this. Tribbie is a Quantum Harmony character whose basic attack deals quantum damage based off her max HP to one designated enemy, and quantum damage based off her HP as well to adjacent targets. Her skill gains Numinosity for 3 turns, the duration decreases by 1 at the start of Tribbie's every turn, and while she has Numinosity, all allies alt-type res pen increases by 24%. Her ultimate activates a zone and will deal quantum damage based off 30% of her max HP to all enemies. Within the zone, enemy targets will have their damage taken increased by 30%. After an allied target attacks, for every 1 target hit, it will deal an additional instance of quantum additional damage based off 12% of Tribbie's max HP to the enemy that has the highest HP among hit targets. The zone lasts for 2 turns, and the duration is decreased by 1 at the start of Tribbie's every turn. For talent, after other allied characters use ultimate, Tribbie launches a follow-up attack which will deal quantum damage equal to 18% of her max HP to all enemies. The effect triggers 1 time per character, and when Tribbie uses ultimate, it will reset the trigger count for other allied characters. If the target was defeated before the follow-up attack was launched, it will launch the follow-up attack against new enemy targets entering the battlefield. I do want to clarify on this, so pretty much what it means is when you go into battle, Tribbie will be able to launch a follow-up attack anytime your characters do use an ultimate that will have a cooldown that refreshes every time Tribbie uses ultimate. So if you go into battle, let's say you ult with Saridra and you also ult with Sunday, Tribbie will launch both follow-up attacks, and let's say you get another Saridra ult before Tribbie actually gets her ultimate back. If you were to use the Saridra ult again, she won't be able to use the follow-up attack since you didn't refresh it with Tribbie's ultimate. But let's say you use Tribbie and Sunday's ultimates, you proc Tribbie's follow-up attack, and then before Saridra's second ultimate, you got Tribbie's ultimate again, you throw it out, the trigger count is reset, and when you use Saridra's ultimate, it will launch the follow-up attack again. Her technique, after using technique and upon entering battle, obtains Numinosity for 3 turns. For her bonus traces, her A2, after using the talent's follow-up attack, increases the damage dealt by Tribbie by 72% that will stack up to 3 times that lasts for 3 turns. Her A4, while the zone lasts, Tribbie's max HP increases by an amount equal to 9% of the sum of all allied characters' max HP. And her A6, at the start of the battle, Tribbie regenerates 30 energy. After other allied targets attack, Tribbie regenerates 1.5 energy for each target hit. For her eidolons, her E1, while the zone lasts and after allied targets attack enemies, additionally deals true damage equal to 24% of the total damage of this attack to the targets that have been dealt additional damage by the zone. Her E2, the additional damage dealt by the zone increases to 120% of the original damage. When the zone deals additional damage, further deals 1 instance of additional damage. Her E4, while Numinosity lasts, the damage dealt by all allies ignores 18% of the target's defense. And her E6, after Tribbie uses ultimate, launches her follow-up attack against all enemies. The damage dealt by the talent's follow-up attack increases by 729%. For her Lightcone options, there are 2 primary options you can run. One of them is, of course, her signature Lightcone, which does provide the wearer a 36% increase to crit damage. After the wearer launches a follow-up attack, additionally regenerates 12 energy and gains Presage, which will last for 2 turns, and while the wearer has Presage, all allied targets' crit damage increases by 48%, and when you enter battle, the wearer regenerates 21 energy and will gain Presage for 2 turns. Tribbie, while also being a buffer, is also a sub DPS, so the crit damage stick is good for her damage anytime she does crit. On top of that, this will give you energy when you do launch a follow-up attack, which will be every time someone else ults, and assuming you have the trigger count up, you'll generate a lot of energy for her ultimate, and on top of that, it practically becomes a free permanent 48% increase to crit damage for your team, as Presage will practically always be active. So it's great for her damage, it's great for her energy and keeping uptime on her ultimate while also buffing your team even further. The best part about this Lightcone is it actually enables you to run an HP percent rope instead of energy regen rope, which is also very good for Tribbie's damage, which is why this is one of her best options to run. Another option for her is Dance Dance Dance. which after the wearer uses ultimate, all allies' actions are advanced forward by 16%, and at S5 it is 24%. Tribbie does get to use ultimate a lot throughout the battle, and even more if you're running in a battle that has a bunch of enemies alongside DPS that do AoE attacks. So you're getting a lot of energy back. In this case, you would be running an energy regen rope, and you get so much energy to spam your ultimate, which is going to allow her to constantly action advance your team by 24% anytime she does ult. When you are running this Lightcone, be sure that it helps you actually achieve a certain breakpoint, or at least that it helps you act faster than an enemy that potentially could mess up a rotation or maybe get one of your units killed. Because if you're getting the action advance and you're not acting after enemies and you don't really move up and you're not hitting a threshold either that lets you maybe gain another turn within a cycle, then the action advance isn't really doing anything for you, and you could honestly run something that gives you better stats and it'll be more worth it. But if it is helping you at least act before enemies, or especially helps you get another turn in a cycle, it is extremely powerful. Past those two options, there isn't really many other options to use, unfortunately, and mainly would be something you focus on to get more energy. One of them is Memories of the Past, which the break effect increase is relatively worthless. It's mainly for when the wearer attacks additionally regenerates 4 energy and cannot be repeatedly triggered in a single turn. So as you technically attack a lot with your follow-up attacks, and also at S5 it's a 8 energy increase, it's really just helping you get your ultimate back faster to continuously keep uptime on it, and also refresh your follow-up attacks at the same time. Another option would be running the Meshing Cogs Lightcone, which is really the same thing, but instead it's when you attack or get hit, you additionally regenerate 4 energy, and same thing, the effect cannot be triggered repeatedly in a single turn, and at S5 it's also 8. So it gives you another way to actually get 8 energy, but this time it would be getting hit, but you still also get it for getting attacked. The trade-off is, of course, it's a 3-star Lightcone, so the stats are worse. Unfortunately, these are still really her only options, nothing has really changed. So mainly, you would use your signature, or you would use Dance Dance Dance, otherwise you could use Memories or Meshing Cogs. For relic sets, her best one does depend if you're doing a fast or slow Tribbie. The most common one, and usually the better one, is slow Tribbie, which will obviously still go to 4-piece Poet. 2-piece provides 10% quantum damage, 4-piece decreases the wearer's speed by 8% before entering battle if the wearer's speed is lower than 110/95, increases the wearer's crit rate by 20%/32%, and also applies to the wearer's Memo Sprite, which Tribbie doesn't have a Memo Sprite, so you ignore that part. Tribbie is quantum, so the 10% quantum damage is going to increase all sources of her damage, and this relic set gives you up to a 32% increase to crit rate, which is going to be very, very good as you do want to build a relatively healthy crit ratio on Tribbie. So this will also help you get closer to 100% crit rate, while also helping you focus on more HP percent and crit damage for more damage. So running a slow Tribbie, you mainly want to optimize for her actual damage stats, and that makes Poet her best in slot. Technically, if you do not actually need the crit rate, let's say you already have a good healthy crit ratio without it, you can actually run Genius on her as well. 2-piece provides 10% quantum damage, 4-piece provides 10% defense ignore when dealing damage to an enemy, and 10% additional defense ignore when they have quantum weakness. Same 2-piece is going to increase your overall damage, and the 4-piece provides you up to a 20% defense ignore, which is going to be good for damage, especially if you are paired with other characters on the team that provide defense shred or more AoE defense ignore. So if you have a shred such as Cypher Lightcone or Silver Wolf on the team, this is going to get even more value. But usually Poet set is going to be a lot more common. Again, this would only be a set you could run if you already have a really good crit rate to crit damage ratio. But Poet set can let you get a lot more crit damage as opposed to anything else, which is why usually it's going to be the best for her damage. You can also use 4-piece Longavius, 2-piece gives 12% max HP, and the 4-piece when the wearer is hit or has their HP consumed by an ally or themselves. They gain 8% crit rate for 2 turns and up to 2 stacks. 12% max HP is going to increase her overall survivability and damage as she scales off HP. 4-piece is a bit finicky if you are not running her on a Castress or Jinglu team. You can't stack this by herself, unfortunately. Those are the only 2 characters that have a form of AoE HP drain. And also Hyoscene Lightcone, if you do have Hyoscene Lightcone on the team, that also would count as the HP drain. So you either need to run her on a team with Jinglu, Castress, or Hyoscene with her Lightcone. Otherwise, the only way to get this stacked would be to pray to RNG and get hit, which can be relatively easy if you are on a battle that attacks a lot, such as someone like Flame Reaver who can attack a decent amount and is obviously attacking multiple people at once. In those cases, you can use it and it gives you up to a 16% increase to crit rate, which is good, but in this case, you would mainly be running Poet anyways, so that's why Poet would be better still. Now, if you are running a fast Tribbie, you can run the Eagle set. 2-piece is useless, she doesn't do wind damage. 4-piece, after the wearer uses their ultimate, their action is advanced forward by 25%. In a battle against multiple enemies and also a team that is AoE to generate Tribbie more energy, you can get ult very frequently, and this would allow you to get more actions More actions means more attacks and more energy gained. It's a bit finicky because if you are constantly action advancing yourself and getting too many turns with the fast Tribbie and not getting enough energy back via your team, or maybe there's not that many enemies on the field, your buff actually might expire, such as the zone in your ultimate, and you also might be expiring your skill duration, which can be a bit crucial when it comes to skill point heavy teams. So be sure you are actually doing this in a smart way, because otherwise you are just sacrificing damage just to end up wasting your buff even quicker, so you're kind of not doing anything and kind of griefing yourself. But for a fast Tribbie, and if you are able to get enough energy back to constantly keep your ult up and get enough actions to where it matters, and also have her slightly generate skill points at the same time, fast Tribbie is also still really good. For Planar Ornaments, the best one for her damage and overall the most common is the Bone Set, where it gains 12% max HP, and if the wearer has 5,000 or higher max HP, the wearer and the Memo Sprite gains 28% crit damage. A well-built Tribbie will have no problem with the requirement. 5,000 or higher HP isn't really a problem. The only time it might be a little bit of a problem would be on a fast Tribbie build, so Eagle focusing practically all on speed. But in any non-fast Tribbie cases, this won't be a problem, so it becomes a free 28% increase to crit damage, which is going to obviously be good for any time she crits. You can also throw on any of the supportive sets on her if you are pairing her on a team where the DPS, that is the primary DPS, is attack scaling. Lushaka works for 5% energy regen rate for Tribbie, and 12% attack for the character position first in the team lineup. Supportive sets are going to be more common on fast Tribbie, especially because the additional energy regen rate on these kind of sets is very good, and Lushaka would be overall the best for any attack scaling primary DPS. If you are pairing her with someone that is the same element, so in this case Quantum, so someone like Castrus, you can also run Penacony for 5% energy regen rate for Tribbie and 10% damage for everyone that is the same type as the wearer. So in this case, again, you need to have the DPS that are the same type as the wearer, so in this case Quantum, so they actually get the buff. You can also use Keel for 10% effect res and 10% crit damage for your team when reaching 30% effect res or higher. This is less recommended as Keel is now becoming pretty outdated, and same thing with Ageless. Ageless does work, but you have to run her on DPS that benefit from attack percent. 12% max HP for Tribbie, which is good, and 8% attack when the wearer's speed reaches 120 or higher. So this would also require you to be building a faster Tribbie. Since on a slow Tribbie, you'll have lower than 95 speed, so this won't be possible. If you are running a fast Tribbie, it will give Tribbie more HP and also 8% attack. So again, if you are running a fast Tribbie with this set, you need to make sure that the people on the team do benefit from the attack percent and not someone like Castrus who scales off HP. The main stats are as follows. For the body, you want to primarily run crit damage if you are running a Poet Tribbie with low speed. If you are running a faster Tribbie where you have to sacrifice crit stats, then you can run crit rate to try to maintain a ratio that's good. But in any other and the most common cases, crit damage would be the one you use. For the feat, for fast Tribbie, you run speed. For any other Tribbie and slow Tribbie primarily below Poet speed, you will run HP percent as you want base speed. For the orb, HP percent is better than Quantum, but you still can run Quantum, especially if you have a good orb. And for the link rope, this does depend. If you are running Dance 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 or any other Lightcone, you will run energy regen rate. Or if you are using her signature Lightcone, then you can run HP percent as she will get enough energy via her Lightcone to keep her all up. For the substats, if you are playing fast Tribbie, you need to focus on getting the breakpoint you want. So on an Eagle set, getting up to 134 speed would be best. If you're doing a Von Walk setup, you would need 120 to actually activate the effect as well. So it's practically just get as much as you want. If you just want the Von Walk setup to activate, then you would just need about 120. If you want to get more and actually hit a breakpoint, then 134 would be good. But with Eagle set, even having around 120 will help you get 2 turns within the first cycle anyways. And then for a fast Tribbie past that, you would still just focus on crit rate, crit damage, and HP percent to try to balance the ratio as best as you can. But fast Tribbie very much has to forego these stats as she really doesn't have a good base speed, and you just have to focus a ton on the speed rolls, so just try to get as much as you can. Now if you're running a general Tribbie or a slow Tribbie with Poet, you completely forego those steps. Ignore speed entirely. You do not want to roll speed if you are running Poet, because if you get above 95, you won't get the full effect. So for Poet Tribbie or general Tribbie, you would just focus on crit rate, crit damage, and HP percent. For HP, aim to get around 5,000. 5,000 or higher is going to be good, especially if you are running Bone where you need 5,000. For crit rate with Poet set active, be sure to get at least around 85%. Closer to 100% is obviously going to be better. And then for crit damage, getting it around 175% is going to be good. And if you can get it to even higher amounts, such as 200% or even higher than that, that's going to be really good for her damage as well. Now for team building ideas. So Tribbie is one of, if not the most universal support in the game. The only team she doesn't really go on is the break teams, but the place she excels at is with people with AoE attacks. As she gains more energy per the amount of targets hit by anyone in her team, AoE definitely does favor her. So someone like Castress is where she definitely does excel the best. So the team would look like Tribbie, Castress, and then you would run Evernight and also Hyacine, but I don't have Hyacine on my account yet, so in this case I'm just going to throw on Linksha. So this would be the best team for Castress. Technically, Tribbie is going to get replaced by Cyrene on this team, but still, in practice, this would be it. 3 different AoE characters here. Even if you had Hyacine here, it would also be another AoE character, which can supercharge energy for Tribbie as well. You can also run her on the Herda team. I don't have the Herda, so I'm just going to put Mini Herda here as an example. So something like this. Your third slot would go to your other Erudition character. The most common one is going to be Anaxa, as he's the best in that slot. And then last slot would go Sustain, or if you're doing Sustain, this another support. So for Sustain, you use someone like Wolfwo, again, even someone like Hyacine, or the new Danang as well, so something like that. And then again, for Sustain this, sub out the last Sustain slot for another support. AoE buffers could be good, or you could use someone like RMC even for the Herda buffing in general. Robin can work both for Anaxa and the Herda. Even someone like Sunday can work as well, but in my case, I'll just put Robin. And if you don't have Anaxa, obviously you can sub out for your Erudition slot that you do use, so you can use Jade. You can also use someone like Serval, if I could find her. Where is she? Like her, whatever your Erudition slot is. And it doesn't actually have to be fully AoE teams either. She can work with people that might be Blast. Like on a Sustainless Aglia team, she can really work. So it'd be like Aglia, Tribbie, then Sunday, and then last slot would go to whatever. It doesn't even have to be Sustainless. It can also be Sustain. Like you could run a team like this, it would be fine. Tribbie, again, really can go anywhere that isn't a break. She also doesn't work the best in Dot, as the whole point is making Dots do the damage, and that's not going to be affected by her buffs much. It's still going to help, but it's still not going to be where she does excel in. So Break is an exceptional no, and then Dot is like you can use her there, but not really. And then any other team you can really use her, especially if you do have her E1. Again, the whole point is she excels in AoE teams, but she can really work anywhere, as mentioned, besides the 1/2 teams I did mention. And that is the full 3.7 updated Tribbie guide. I do hope you found this video helpful. If you did, drop a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all the types of Star Wars content. Remember to join the Discord in the description below, and also remember to click the link and try out Raid Shadow Legends if you are interested. You get a strong start with the link I have in the description, and it also does help support the channel. So once again, if you are interested, definitely be sure to do that, and I'll see you later. Peace out.